alone how. Just yesterday I had it all, but now it's going wild. Now everybody say they're praying on my profile. Nobody sees all the hurt that I'm going through, and all the painkillers that my body's numb to. So many sleepless nights, so many weary days. Just wanna lay in bed until I fade away. This is probably the realest song I ever wrote. Suicide on my mind because I couldn't cope. Trying to end it all, pills sliding down my throat. Can't believe I even took the time to write a note. I know you said that you never ever leave me. I can't do this all alone, please forgive me. Tears running down my face until I'm empty. I'm trying to find a way, but I've been blinded and I can't sleep. Lord, hold me close, yeah, don't let go. If I die now, I surely lose my soul. Please don't give up until I break through. Cause you want me, Lord, but I need you. Lord, hold me close, yeah, don't let go.
Welcome back to the Keep It Real podcast. It's a really special day today. I'm super excited. We're joined as always by Cindy, today by AC Cabarrus, Destiny, and myself, Amanda. Welcome. We're happy. We are so happy to have you here, AC. Listen, it's not too awful often that you get local celebrities, if you will, and we are so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to this. Excited to see what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely.
One thing about AC is what you see is what you get. He's as real as I can. Really good friend. So you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yes. My name is AC. AC isn't anything special. It's just my initials. Antoine Cabarrus is my government. Well, Cabarrus is my government, but I go by Antoine. But yeah, I probably should have changed my name a long time ago because when you look up my name online, the first thing that pops up is ACDC. And so everybody's like, you can do rock and roll. It's like, I can, but no, you're right, I don't. But no, I was born in New Jersey. My dad's job transferred us here back in 1996, here to West Virginia. And I was completely blown away with the difference between the two places, New Jersey and West Virginia, these two different worlds. I went back and looked at pictures, and I went from being in all white class, nothing but African Americans, to being the only African American in school. And so I had to go through a lot of bullying, a lot of discrimination, dealing with that. I didn't even know what that was until I went through it. But yeah, I'm from New Jersey, live in Ohio now, but I went to Beverly Hills, Huntington High, and then Marshall University for college. A lot of people don't know that I am an educated brother. When they see me on stage, they hear the music, they see the swag, they see the clothes, and they never think like he went to college, man. But I got 2 degrees. I got 2 undergrads, and then I went to grad school and got my master's in leadership studies. A lot of people do not know that about me until I tell them, but I like to present the message of that, I do rap music or whatever, and then shoot to the point where I'm giving my story, what I really am. Rapping is just a talent or a gift that God's given to me, but who I really am is this. And I've done all of these other things, as I guess what I wanted to do growing up. And actually, what I really wanted to be growing up was an astronaut. But
Really?
yeah, nobody. I haven't told many people that, but I think when I watched Challenger, I was like, nope, nope, not gonna blow me up. But I still have a passion for space. all things space, NASA, SpaceX, whatever. Um, I always watching videos, learning about the stars. I'm always find myself looking at the stars, just wondering what's God doing, what's He up to. So, but yeah, that's.
Isn't it crazy though with space? I love space. My husband and I both do, and it's just crazy, just the structure in and of itself,
Yeah.
how relative it is to the smallest of things, the largest of things, the macro to the micro, if you will. You know, our galaxy's made up like an atom, as the universe is as well, and it just, that full rotation, and it all comes around, and I always thought that was so incredibly interesting.
Yeah,
So,
we're like
but-
one of the smallest things in the whole universe, but God still made us individually, to very DNA, and it's just amazing how God orchestrated all of that. And the universe is still expanding as we speak, and so it's just crazy, mind-blowing to think about the whole thing.
really is.
You also play football with Marshall,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, I played football from 2003 to 2008. I redshirted my first year. Um, how I got to Marshall was a miracle in itself. Um, they had very few scholarships, so they couldn't offer me a scholarship like they wanted to. So Coach Pruitt was the coach at the time. He recruited me and told me, he said, "Hey, why don't you come walk on to, just come to practice." He said, "You can earn your scholarship. Next year, you can get one whenever we have it available." And so I came and I did really good. So the next year, I signed a contract to get me scholarship and didn't have to worry about where I was going to find money for tuition or taking up too many more grants and loans, because those things will follow you forever. But yeah, I played football and I got to minister to my teammates while I was on the team. I thought, like growing up, I wanted to go to the NFL. It was always one of my dreams. I thought I was there to pursue that. But as the years went by, I realized that God placed me there to help minister to the other guys, the other teammates. And I tried my best to fit in with them. I tried my best to do everything that they were doing. I went to the bars. I hung out wherever they hung out. Skipped class. A couple, not a bunch
I think we've all been guilty.
of them. But yeah, I just tried my best to fit in. And the more I tried to fit in, the more I realized I'm not. I'm not of this world. I'm not. God could put me there for that reason. And so that's why I felt weird every time I went to a bar. I just felt alone. I felt isolated. And I was just thinking in my head, like, what am I doing? I just, that feeling inside, like, what are we doing? Trying to be like them when I called you to be a light to them. And so then I was like, okay, I'm gonna start inviting people to church with me. And so one person turned to two, and then two turned to three, and four, and before I knew it, now like the whole team goes to the church. Well, they may not come every Sunday, but like, they'll come on Thanksgiving to the church or give them all Thanksgiving. And it's not just the football team; it's the cheerleaders, dance team. It's I guess during the fall, for Thanksgiving and something like that, to have sports going on. But it's like I didn't realize that I didn't think that'd be possible. And God sent me there to start a ripple, and the ripple turned into a wave, the wave turned into a tsunami, and it just engulfed the whole university. So
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say, it's amazing how sometimes our plans aren't what God's plans are.
Right.
We'll be in one place for a certain amount of time, and then He'll move us because there's somebody else He wants us to touch, and then somebody else He wants us to touch. And then in your case, now you touch people all the time. Your message, God's message. What made you? What brought you to the place where you knew you wanted to be in music? That you knew you wanted to start rapping, singing?
I started music as a little boy. It was in my family. I grew up in church. All of my uncles sing. My aunts can sing. My dad even sing. Um,
Yes, he can.
all my cousins, they can sing. They're very talented family. And so I grew up in it. And when I was in elementary or middle school, I started playing the saxophone. And so I was playing the saxophone, and I won talent shows playing the saxophone.
Oh, wow.
And then I played the tenor sax. And then I was also in the choir as well at the same time. And I would get certain solos and certain things like that. And then middle school, I started playing the cello, and I won an award for playing the cello at a show. And then from the cello, I believe I went to the guitar. I took some acoustic guitar lessons, and then piano lessons, and then all that time I was still singing in the choir and whatnot. But I would start writing, I guess, poems and pretending to be a rapper. When I was in New Jersey, living in New Jersey, I would write these songs, and they weren't necessarily gospel songs. I was wild back then. So, but they were still songs nonetheless, and that's where I started. And so, I guess when I was in high school, I started actually performing the songs. Me, my brother, and a friend of mine, he played the drums. My brother played the piano. And the very first song that I performed to was to the beat of Rapper's Delight.
Nice. That's awesome.
Now, I know a lot of people don't know about that, but it's the hip hop, hip to the hip hop, you know. Yeah, so we wrote a song. And actually I rocked with a friend of mine named J3. Um, yeah, that was like one of the very first songs that I wrote and performed, and we performed it at the church camp, and it went. Everybody loved it, and so from there, I just started writing more songs, and then in 2013 is whenever I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make an album. And so I made my first album, released my first album in 2013.
How many do you have now?
Let's see, long time coming, too real, revelation, not of this world, strength in the dark, through it all, and then I'm about to release another one, my new one. I haven't told anybody the name yet, but I'll do it today on the show.
Oh, what is it? Yeah.
The name of my new album will be called Let's Go.
Let's go! Oh, you heard it here. You heard it here first, folks.
And you will hear it in most of my songs. I'm always like, let's go! Like, let's go. Get excited.
Let's get it with it.
Because my past albums were all about depression and things that I went through. And I wanted to put something out that's more upbeat, more motivating. And actually, even though I still struggle with that, I wanted to put out the opposite of what I'm feeling. So it helps me, get movement, helps me get out of the funk. And I know it's going to help motivate and lift up. And you got some music to add to your workout playlist,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to keep a diversity when it comes to music. Not all of them same. I actually have one more song to record, and it's to an old school type of beat, but it's got a new feel to it, and it's called Flavor. It's called Flavor, but it's like flavor in your ear. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, it's got that beat in the background, so it's gonna be fun.
I'm excited to hear it.
I'm very excited as well. So, who would you say was one of your biggest motivations in rap music or in music in general, aside just from the strong family background, which is just natural talent, that was built-in talent. Did you have any particular motivator, or not motivators, but inspirations that you look to?
As far as rap goes, I guess for Christian rap, I would have to say I started listening to like gospel gangsters, T-Bone.
Yeah.
I think he's still raps. But I guess the very first Christian rapper I heard was Carmen.
Carlin was amazing. Oh my gosh.
I guess he was good for what he did. He I guess was like the person that brought everybody into liking Christian rap, and he used a lot of skits and whatnot. And I remember going to something a long time ago called Acquire the Fire, and
I did.
yeah, and like it was whole big stadium people there for him. I don't know, was he with DC Talk? Was that DC Talk?
DC Talk came to one of them. They had one, I want to say, for years. But
I don't know what happened to the Acquire the Fire, but that was like a huge event. Now I think everything happens Winter Jam. But I would say those gospel gangsters, the T-Bone, of course, the Gray, Tripley, and Kurt Franklin. Kurt Franklin actually he raps a lot of his songs like Stomp and some other songs. And I never really seen him as a singer.
no.
But yeah, we actually used to sing Kurt Franklin a lot of the songs by the youth choir, and they used to have me do the rapping. But yeah, and then as far as like singing goes, I would say Marvin Sapp. Marvin Sapp. Marvin Sapp.
Yeah. Come
uh, Fred Hammond, CC, BB and CC Winans, Hezekiah Walker. Yeah, I know. Hezekiah Walker, and man, there's just a lot of groups inspired me to keep going with music. And that's I wanted to grow up to be like them as well, and I didn't know how, what lane I would go to get there, but I wanted to do something with music because it's my passion. Music, I don't know anything with music I like. It's my escape. I can write a song in like 2 minutes if I'm in my zone, and whatever I'm going through at the time, I forget about it. So music is it's like therapy with me. So all those people I mentioned, they motivated me to keep going, and I was like, I wanted to be like that. And I'm still waiting for my chance to go on a world tour or just tour the country.
I feel God would put it with you to do that. One thing that I love about you and your music is that I grew up. I listen to everything. I have such an eclectic taste in music, but I love rap so much growing up, and even today. But a lot of times, it seems for me, the older that I get and the more that rap music evolves, it's almost, there's, in certain aspects of rap, there's such a negativity about a lot of things, whether it's, womanizing or just outright, I don't know, just negative kind of it. And listening to your albums and your music, it's so incredible, and it brings me back into that I really truly love rap again, because this is not only a good message, not only is this um, so real, it's a lot of times it's relative and just uplifting a lot of times, and it's fantastic. And for me, it's an incredible change to the mainstream, or I guess your more mainstream uh, productions, if you will.
Yeah. One thing I have noticed with my genre is it's always it's hard. Like going into this genre, I knew that I was up against the world. Um, I know that people don't like my genre because it has the word Christian in front of it. I know that I won't get played at certain events or get invited to perform at certain events because Christians in front of it. And then when you add rap, it's like, oh no, that's just a double negative. Um, and even in certain churches, people are hard to accept it because they have that stereotype in their head of rap equals gangster or rap equals thug. And that's why in a lot of my songs, I'll mention I got tattoos, but God still loves me. I got tattoos, but He's still using me. Um, because it doesn't matter like where you've been, where you come from. Um, God is more than likely to use the people that's been in the streets, tattoos, piercings, whatever color hair. He's more likely to use those people because the lost are the ones who are. That's what they look like. That's the things that they gravitate towards. And for my platform that I'm on, I want to show that, yeah, I got the look of that, but it's like my hook, like not hook of the song, but like you're fishing. We're fishers of men, so if I'm going to go to a prison, I'm going to look like those guys,
Right.
because that way they can relate to me. I want to tell them that, hey, I did this too. I feel like this too. I've been through this as well. But look at me now, like, and then I'll get flat out transparent. I'll cry in front of them and everything, and I'll tell them, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to cry too. Like it doesn't show how weak you are. It shows how strong you are. You can admit your faults and whatever. But I've been to some churches and they'll give me a weird look when I get up on stage and start rapping. Like, this ain't Christian music. I even had somebody come up to me after one of my shows last year and question my songs because they heard the word Glock in one of my songs. And they tried to indirectly say that my music wasn't Christian. And they asked me to read my lyrics to them right after the service was over. Because they said somebody else said my music wasn't Christian. Can I see your lyrics? After they saw my lyrics, I was like, oh, that's what you meant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, see, that person already had it in their head that rap was bad or not of God. And so the moment they heard a word that relates to bad, like a Glock or whatever, it's like automatic, shut down.
I can take it just one step at a time because that really makes me, it aggravates me so much. Sometimes, listen guys, if we can take a moment of our time and stop with over processing and stop speaking for just a moment and just listen. Open your ears, open your mind, and take in what is being put in front of you. If we're just associating words, then how are you getting the knowledge? How are you getting the information? Especially if you're in church. I always take the story of was it Mary Magdalene? You can say a word prostitute, and everybody, you're missing the point of the story. If you're stopping at certain words, or if you're stopping at certain points where your mind just goes, nope, no more, no, and you're not taking it in, then you're not fully understanding, especially in that situation. So sometimes we just need to zip it and listen for just a minute.
Yeah, they'll say, don't judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely.
It's so true. And that's one reason that we love you so much here. It's been here several times. And in July,
Back.
in July, right? And I know you're talking about getting away from your old CDs, but one of my favorites, I've told you this 100 times, is The Storm. And that song spoke so much to me. I mean, I love your new ones. I love the ones that I've heard. Like Fuego, I love that. Love that. Me and the kids, well, me mostly, they sit and look at me singing in the car.
I didn't know for the kids, so I was so hard in this first round.
But The Storm, for me, it kind of lifted me up out of the time I was having. Because there was so much stress and so many unanswered questions. And that song for me just showed me, you're going through the storm, but that's the whole point. You're going through the storm.
Yeah.
You're not staying in it. And I know we were wanting to talk about upcoming shows here in a minute, but one of the things I know you all heard us mention Will Clement so many times in our podcasts. But Will is how we met AC. We were asking, we need something different. We need somebody to come, to do an event here. And Will was like, hey, I got somebody for you. And I mean, that was a blessing because you really became a big part of our lives and my whole family's life. But how was it that you came to know Will?
Went to school with Will. He was the guy in high school. And we weren't really like best friends like that in high school, but I've always seen him always. He was always loved by everybody, and my memories of him are always smiling, always giving people high fives. And then after high school, he went and worked at Walmart. I would always see him at Walmart. He was always going out of his way to help anybody. No matter if he was about to clock out or if he had already clocked out, he would still help. He's done that with me many times. Helped me find video games. He used to work in electronics. And Bill is just like the perfect model of what a person should be, a man and woman, of his unselfishness, his willing to give. And I mean, he would give without even knowing he was giving. And he was definitely somebody I will always remember. And I remember when he reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in coming here. And I was like, man, sure. And then that turned into a turn into a conversation, like catching up with each other and whatnot. And he would tell me, like, he always listened to my music, loved my music. And it was, I guess it was meant for this to happen. Um, you know, he, here we are still talking about Will and how important he is. I don't say was, he is, he's still important. He's still touching people, he's still helping, and he's still inspiring people. And I don't get, I mean, I get sad when I think about him, but I'm also like I have nothing but like good things, memories. And I don't have like one bad memory of Will. He gives me joy, like the thoughts of him. It gives me that peace. You know, like, his hug, you know, he used to give hugs.
Oh, yeah, I had the best hugs.
That's
Yeah, and so Will's definitely a friend that I would always remember. And I'm sure it's touched you all too, just like it touched me.
And just like Will has touched so many people. And Scott, we talked about him with Scott the other day. GQ, yeah, he knew him too. And in the same way that he touched people, you touched him. He told me so many times, talk about you, about, oh man, this is my favorite song, or oh my gosh, he's, you know, I just love him, I love him, he's such good people. And in that same way you are touching by your voice, the way you talk about him touching you and other people, that's, you're touching people that way every day. You know, I mean, even if you don't feel like that you are ministering to somebody one-on-one, every time somebody hears a song, you know, I mean, from now till forever, you know, you're touching lives.
That's one thing I didn't know. He never told me that. Um, but I have those thoughts a lot because I see numbers like what they give me on the statistics for Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music, or like whatever digital platform. And sometimes it's low. And I'm like, man, nobody's listening to my music. I'm not touching anybody. Nobody cares. What am I doing? Why am I still doing this? And I invest a lot of money into making music. It's thousands of dollars to put out an album, plus merchandise. And I always have to go back to why I started. And the reason why I started, I used to tell myself, if I can touch one person, if I can inspire one person, if I can get one person to the cross, if I have to perform in front of one person and that person gets saved, then it's all worth it. And that's what keeps me going. And I always, whenever I feel like I'm not going anywhere or doing anything, I always, out of nowhere, get a message or somebody will come up to me and tell me personally how my music has touched them. I'll get a note from a little kid with a drawing. It can be just a bunch of scribbles on this table. And then they'll have AC, love you, love the music. It's the little things. Like, God will send a kid, a child, to help push me, help motivate me to keep going, to remind me that I am making a difference. Um, and with the way that the music industry is now, it's hard, very difficult to put something out and to feel like it's touching anybody because there's so much coming at everybody at one time. And then once people hear it, it's like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? But there are certain songs that I put out that people have on repeat, and they'll tell me, hey, I was about to kill myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that one song, I listened to it on repeat, and it helped me change my mind. pulling the trigger or taking those pills. And, and so that's why I write those songs like I do. A lot of artists don't talk about it. A lot of artists only talk about what somebody else wrote, and then they sing it or they rap it. That's what the advantage for me, I think, is I write my music. Every song, and I think I've written, last time I counted was close to 80 or more. 80 or more songs that I've written. And I keep saying once I get to 100, I'm have a big party or something.
Better than us.
But it's like, you just never know. Like all of the song, every specific song helps somebody.
Yes.
And no matter how much money went to that, no matter how many hours, it's all worth it. And I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't anymore. And I know there's a stigma with, I guess, with rappers being a certain age, but I don't care.
No way. And I'll tell you something else that encourage you. There was a gentleman in recovery that we got to be really close with. He was actually, the first time he heard you, he was here when you did the outdoor event. He took one of our CDs back to Georgia with him. He's home now. And he said that was one thing that kept him going through his recovery. He kept going to go back to listen to your music. He was like, because that's one thing, he said, that would clear my head. That's one thing that would make me get back to where I needed to be when I was thinking about going back and doing the things I used to do. So that's carried all the way to Georgia. And you don't know how many people he's shared it with now. You know? So, I mean, you are worldwide. Just other people share it.
Well, actually, speaking of that, I have done music in Africa and Taiwan.
See?
Like the time that I went to Africa, you see it on TV when they're at these crusades, and there's just a whole swarm of people. You can't even count them. And that's where I got to perform in front of when I went to do. I was working at a medical missions with my church, and I knew I was going to go there and do music, but the rest of the time I was like, what am I going to do? I don't have any certifications as an LPN, RN, or I'm not a nurse prac. What am I going to do? So the best thing that I thought to do was serve. And if it was handing somebody some water, holding a baby that was crying, bringing somebody food, or help fill medicine or something like that, I did whatever was needed. And a lot of people, they think that, oh, that's not for me. They think that going on mission trips aren't for them. But God's last command before he ascended into heaven was to go into all of the world and preach the gospel. That was his last command before he ascended to heaven. And I think because that was his last, I think that's the most important. Because there are so many people, when I go to Taiwan, so many people who never heard of Jesus, never heard the name. All they know is their God. If you travel to the villages, they have temples and they worship that God. And they're cut off from the rest of the world. All they know is that God, and then you worship your ancestors. They think that if you worship your ancestors, it helps them get, go and send them to heaven. And so when we were ministering to those people in Taiwan, if they got saved, the families would cut them off. Because it's like, oh no, you're condemning me to hell if you don't worship me, you're worshiping this God. And so it was a big deal for people to get baptized, saved in Taiwan. And then also Africa as well, because they had witch doctors that would be in their villages. And witchcraft is real.
Yeah.
And witch doctors, they are real. and but they feel God, they can't come around, but they go into the village and they intimidate people. They'll threaten to cast spells on them, and that's why when we go, we have to be covered. Because who knows what spells or spirits that they try to put on us, and also dealing with government. But I love traveling, doing music, and seeing how people interact with rap or interact with my type of music, even if they don't speak English. I think music is universal.
Yes.
I can say blah 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 Jesus, and everybody's like, and all it has a nice beat, everybody's dancing. But everybody knows whenever you say Jesus, Yeshua, God, Father, Abba, um, there's so many names. It's universal. And so,
You say missions, and a lot of people. I will say, I have a cousin who is he's a minister who's also from the military as well. Him and his wife have taken a lot of mission work overseas, several different countries, and I'll tell you, it is hard work. It is extremely hard work. It's a shock a lot of times. He called one time, crying because that he is encountering starving babies for the first time, and I mean infants, and they are starving. And he says, I don't understand why nothing is being done about it, and they're just left to starve, left to fit. And I said, it's not easy. I said, the best, you do the best you can do with what you've got while you're there. I said, you do God's work and you do what He tells you to do, what He wants you to do. It's not easy by any means, so it is the most commendable thing for you to have gone through that and to help and to minister to so many people and save so many souls and so many lives, and it is absolutely incredible. I commend that so much. I've seen secondhand the relative. It's very taxing mentally as well, but it's still a good job done as always. So.
And like you said, when you're talking about holding babies, it wasn't a monetary thing that you're doing, you're being the hands and feet of Jesus.
yes.
Just by being there, putting your hands there. I mean, even when you just pray with people, and you're going out and doing what He told you to do.
Yeah.
It's like a man is saying, do it. You have to do it. And even here, not to just say, look at us, but we don't have a lot of finances to be able to just reach out and give people things. But we do have, we had drive-through prayer. Just being able to pray with people, just to say, hey, you matter. We love you. Jesus loves you. And that's not a generic thing to say. Some people are like, oh, I hear that all the time. But when you mean it, proof's in the pudding, as they say.
Yeah.
You show it, and you do. You show it. And you all watch it. You need to go check him out. You need to listen to him. You can get on Spotify. We're going to put all his information up on here so that you can see where to listen to him too. Do you want to know about upcoming shows that you have?
Well, at the moment, I don't have anything up on my radar as far as singing. I know for sure coming here, but I get booked at the last minute. But it seems like everything that I do is always, hey, we're having this, can you come? And I'm like, yeah, I stay with you. And so I'm always down to perform or go anywhere. I know Pictus is coming up soon. I'm hoping that I will be able to do that again. I got to do it the past 2 years, and it was amazing.
Where is that held at?
It's in Wilmore, Kentucky, on the Servant Arts Farm. It's a huge land, and it's just, they have a big stage, there's 2 stages, and it goes, whenever anybody asks me, what's Ixtoosh, I say, it's like the Christian version of Woodstock. And then if they don't know what Woodstock is, I'm like, we're watching Netflix. It's crazy.
Oh, what's up? So if somebody out there watching wants to get a hold of you to book you for an event, what is the best way for them to contact you?
Well, most people reach out to me online, on Facebook, AC for JC. If you type that in the search, I'll pop up. The ACFOR JC. On that page, or my Instagram, AC for JC _music. Or they'll send me a text, or somebody will reach out to me or call me, or Google. I think that's usually how people get a hold of me. But I'm always reachable. I'm always quick to respond, and I'm always ready to. If it's definitely doable, I'm ready to do what God wants me to do. I'll go anywhere, and I don't care how many people show up. If God's involved, then I'm there.
We're so thankful. I also did want to ask, what all platforms are, I know you're on Spotify. That's where I get my music dose from, daily music dose from Spotify. Are you on, shout out Spotify, Patreon or other platforms as well?
I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Tidal, YouTube.
Dude.
Every platform you can think of, really.
Every platform. That means you cannot miss him.
Exactly.
So if you've not heard him, then I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah, and if you can't find my music, don't give up. Ask me. You can find me on TikTok. On my TikTok, I got a link for all the links.
A link for all the links.
Yes, it's in the bio. All
That
that.
is fantastic.
Well,
We'll do.
when you listen to his music, if you have interested in his merch, do you have merch still online? I've got some of it.
Actually, I started to create a thing through Etsy where you can go online and order and it be shipped to you instead of me actually being the one going to the post office and shipping things out. So I started it a couple weeks ago. I just stopped. I forgot. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to work more on making things more easier, more accessible. But yes, I do have T-shirts. I do have fans. I do have. I have a lot of these CDs, which CDs are like becoming a thing of the past.
Oh, shut up.
For me.
We're not gonna. That's all right.
I thought about getting a couple of vinyls made, but I don't know who has, a player. But
I just got one from my mother-in-law.
I have one too.
Vinyl record players are making a comeback.
Yep.
So.
yeah, but I am thinking about doing something. A couple weeks ago, I said I was going to do something I've never done before. I'm thinking about, for this next upcoming album release, releasing the CD, the physical copy of the CDs, maybe a week or two before it hits digital.
Nice.
To encourage, and I will autograph every single one of them and leave a special note, individualized message to everybody who does that.
Please do that.
Take my money now.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was like, oh, referring. Come on, no. Please do that. I would absolutely love an autographed CD. That is awesome. So,
One thing, before we close out, would you like to give people watching a sample? Set a few bars here?
Of one of my old songs or one of my new ones?
Your choice.
Yeah, I give you a little sample of one of my new songs.
again, heard it here first, folks.
Now, this song is one of my favorite on my album. It's got a catchy beat. Actually, this is my album. That's not the cover, but you see all the songs on my album. And this is gonna be my favorite one. There we go. I'm gonna be here. It's called Work. It's got a little Pac-Man to it. No pussy protocol. When I fall, if I can't run, I crawl. Put me in the game, I ball. No push my protocol. That's like when I fall. If I can't run, I crawl. Put me in the game, I ball. Work, work. Put the time I work. Work, work. Work, work, work. Put the time I work. Work, work. Yeah. Working like I don't want to clock or watch or block cause I'm on my grind. Searching for a door, gotta knock, yeah, knock. If it's locked, I'ma lose my mind. Doing fighting with more than me. Don't nobody wanna work with me. Stay little when I tend to read. Talk about my G.O.D. And the back, Satan on my back, so I know the tap, so I never nap, no I never cap, I'm always strapped. Stay on the path, cause I gotta purpose to my calling, never stalling, stay falling, I'm all in. Trust in my calling, crawling, stopping, I'm pausing. I'm always,
So I get that first CD now, right? Like that's the first CD now.
Yeah, we can pay for it.
So I need that in my car right now. That is phenomenal. And again, let's go. Let's go.
no,
And let's go, y'all. Let's like, follow, subscribe, and share. Again, AC in the house with Miss Cindy, Destiny, myself. Please get on Spotify, get on YouTube, get on Pandora, all the platforms. Facebook, AC for FORJC, AC for JC. You said Facebook, Twitter. He's on TikTok. He is everywhere. Listen, get on his page. Listen to the jams. They are awesome.
Yeah, come see him here in July.
Yes. What date is that again?
July the 18th. Or
July 18th.
Can't remember when. We'll definitely put the exact date up for you.
We'll put the date in the description below. Sir, listen, it's been an absolute honor to have you here. We appreciate everything that you are doing, that you have done. I can't thank you enough. Keep doing what you're doing. The people that you're reaching, it is exploding, and it will continue to. And just feel really proud of having a little fangirl moment at the moment because it's so awesome.
And I'm gonna say this real quick. I know the people that do follow me, if you see me saying things on my Facebook or wherever, and I'm posting motivational messages, a lot of times that's for me too. And I don't just tell somebody something for them to do, or like do as I say, not as I do. A lot of that stuff that I post is for me too, because we are all going through this faith walk is not a cakewalk. And if you're doing, as long as you're going for God and you're trying to save souls and make a difference, and you're doing good things, you will be attacked. The moment that you stop going for God or stop trying to, do the Lord's will, you're going to get peace. You're going to find out, well, I ain't got nothing going on. But like this past season, I've been going through a lot, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and I posted a lot of things that I've been going through, and a lot of it is a word that God gave to me. But I know that God doesn't just speak for me. He's because he gives me a platform just to reach a lot of people. So I also put out what God gives to me, and so I'm just telling you, like, stay encouraged, and no matter what you're going through, realize that you are going through. That means you're going to get through it, to get to, and your situation, whatever you're going through, is your final destination. It's a journey, and you're human. We're all human, and we all have emotions. We all have setbacks, but it's not about your falls. It's how you get back up. That's what's important. So remember that. Never give up.
Do you like to close us out in a prayer?
Yes.
People will be watching.
Father God, thank you for allowing us to come together and have this podcast. And thank you for being able to minister to those people who are watching this. We pray that your hand will be over this ministry and that it will continue to grow. And as it grows, I pray that you begin to speak into the people here that are receiving it, and that you will save and touch somebody through the screen that they're watching. I pray that the anointing will continue to spread like a wildfire throughout the eyes and the ears of those who come in contact with this podcast. I pray that chains will be broken through watching this, that walls will be torn down through watching this. I pray that healing, whether it's physical, mental, emotional healing, will come through this program and come out of this church. I pray that you continue to give a vision and direction, wisdom and guidance for this. And I pray that you do it now. I pray that it's on time message and it's on fire. And Lord, we pray that your will be done. We pray that you continue to speak in this Cindy and help her as a leader, lift her up and strengthen her and give her the fuel that she needs to get through the week as she prepares up until Sunday, and then refill her back up, and her family. And Lord, I also pray that you will keep this church, keep your hand over this church and continue for it to grow. And as it grows, Father, that the revival starts here. Lord, and we pray and we ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's go.
Let's go! See y'all next time. Till next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you.